So they say that for every dollar a man makes in the US, his female counterpart only makes 79 cents. If you're a woman of color or you live in another country, that income disparity can be even more pronounced. Science also tells us that women tend to be more generous with their money. They tend to support charitable causes more frequently. So when it comes to increasing the earning power of women, there is a lot at stake. Preparing a generation of financially capable women who can do more good with more wealth and more financial opportunity can have a huge impact on the world, even for years to come. Case in point, this is my grandmother, Lodina Pouncey. She was born in the middle of Mississippi in the 1920s and came to Chicago in the 1940s during the Great Migration with hundreds of thousands of other Blacks that wanted to escape the oppressive racism of the US South. It stifled both the soul and the pocketbook. My grandmother came to Chicago with little money, few marketable skills, and because of her race and gender, not much opportunity for upward mobility. To make ends meet, she cleaned homes for families in the suburbs of Chicago. But before I tell you how my granny made out, I want to shift gears to talk about myself. A college graduate who majored, yeah, that's me, who majored in Spanish and economics, who couldn't get money right to save her life. I broke every money rule that you can think of. I had thousands of dollars in credit card debt, tens of thousands of dollars in student loans, and on top of that, I did not want to work a full-time job. And I still don't. So, as you can imagine, I had a lot of debt in my young adult life compared to my meager income. Technically, I had more access to opportunity than my ancestors could have ever dreamed of, yet I was failing miserably at life, and especially with money. In fact, I was failing so badly with money that I had to move out of my high rent digs in the swanky suburbs and to the hood of hoods on the south side of Chicago with, you guessed it, my grandmother, who had also come there decades earlier out of financial necessity. I felt like I was taking a huge step backwards. Here I was in the middle of the ghetto, no money, teaching Spanish to high school kids for basically peanuts, and stuck with this lady who would not let me rest until my financial obligations were addressed. She would rip open my mail and say, "Ah, look at you on the phone, you got bills." Or she'd notice, "Oh, I see you going out again. I hope your bills are paid while you're out here ripping and running in these streets having fun." That was my granny. And I would roll my eyes and wonder what I did to end up with this lady who saved plastic baggies and paper towels and froze everything from sweet potatoes to milk. In retirement, my grandmother never made more than about $20,000 a year, but she managed to support me while I lived with her rent-free, and she also helped tons of other relatives financially too. It's the typical tale of the family matriarch. She felt like she had to help everybody, and somehow she did. But the moral of the story isn't in what she did for me or how she modeled fiscal responsibility in front of me every day, but rather in her transparency. She would talk to me about money. She would tell me how she grew up poor, or the mistakes that she made with her money, or what she wished she had done differently with her money. She'd also tell me, "I may not have gone to college, but I can add 1 + 1. In other words, she didn't wait until she was the perfect picture of this high-powered money mogul before she opened her mouth to talk to me about money. No, she sat me down right there in the middle of the hood and let me witness her money reflections, her lamentations over what went wrong, and even her joys over what went right. Her transparency and vulnerability were priceless. And I didn't know it then, but to listen to her was my lifeline. So when it came time to be a money model for my daughters, I had an idea of where to start. Even if I wasn't perfect, I felt okay starting with the truth. Girls, mommy and daddy messed up, and our money situation is tight because of it. I could see the pain and wonder in my oldest daughter's face as I admitted the truth. Up until that point, she thought that we were pretty much perfect, and it broke my heart to shatter her perception of us and also her innocence. But the good news is that I also got to take my daughters along on our money redemption story. I told them about our plans to aggressively pay off debt and kept them updated about the times we were really disciplined and even the times that we were not. They waited with bated breath as we paid off the last of that $120,000 worth of debt. And they celebrated as we screamed, "We're debt-free." Dave Ramsey fans out there? All you moms out there who are wondering if you are perfect enough to be a money role model for your daughter, I want to let you know that as long as you are real and genuine in your money mistakes and your mess, you're enough. Actually, you will be more than enough, because out of those conversations and out of that candor will come conversations about budgeting and frugality and retirement planning, because those things are really an overflow of principles like self-love and vulnerability and transparency. If you let them witness your own money reflections, you are giving them valuable tools like self-improvement and self-development that will help them with their own money journey. And I promise you, they will thrive in life and also be masterful with their finances. As a mom manager of 2 girls who are in the Actors Union, they've been paid to act, sing, dance, do all that fun stuff. I am so humbled to be able to steward not only their talent, but also their journey to get it right with money. But I do have to admit, I'm standing on the shoulders of giants. Over her lifetime, my granny would go on to help many other people financially and otherwise, some relatives and some just casual acquaintances. Today, my family still lives on the South Side in her paid-for home where we're able to host young women that come from around the world who have visions of changing the world themselves. And we're only able to do that because of her sacrifice and her transparency around money topics. So, all you moms out there, cousins, aunties, grandmas, family members, I want to let you know that you are going to be the doulas of this next generation of money-smart women and savvy entrepreneurs. If that responsibility seems too weighty because you feel inadequate, I tell you, fear not, because your story and your truth is an indisposable cornerstone that's going to usher in the next generation of female change makers. So you have to tell that story. It's imperative. So if you're wondering, how on earth can I be somebody's money role model and I'm barely making it myself, my advice to you is just be you. And then strive to be a better you tomorrow. And don't forget to tell someone else about your journey along the way. Thank you.